I bought 4 of those tubes, and I think they were used in Russian tanks. When they arrived, they were in a box. They were well wrapped in this foam, this foam like you use in heavy packing material. And the foam had in it 1,000 dog hairs, all inside the foam. And what the Russian operator had done that sold them to me, apparently he had taken his dog's bed and wrapped them around the tubes and put them in a box. Over.
Well, I guess that's what you get when you buy tubes from Russia on eBay for $125. But having that considered, did the tubes work?
Absolutely. They worked for my friend Fred. They worked for me just fine. And I put them in the, I think it was the, what was that linear that had the key down with a brick on it? 71B. I had my old tubes changed out, even though they didn't need them. Put the Russian tubes in, and they took off and worked perfect. So apparently what happened was when the Soviet Union fell, he went into one of the storage yards, found an old tank sitting somewhere, and removed the tubes. Over.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens quite a bit. Well, you go to DX Engineering right now. The tubes in the ACOM 2000, as you know, are user replaceable. Of course, the manual says, hey, help somebody else pay their home bills by you sending it to somebody and having them changing your tubes. But the reality is the tubes are so easy to change. There's 2 screws inside the non-high voltage section to adjust the bias between 2 tubes. By the way, these amplifiers work great with 1 tube. So dxengineering.com, if you search for the GU74B right now, in stock, ships today, $350, $700 a pair with a 1-year warranty, and you have it by Tuesday morning. Now, I'd say that's pretty good because there's a lot of things on DX Engineering you can't get by Monday or Tuesday morning.
Well, now, DX Engineering sometimes hides a little disclaimer, not in stock. It's in stock, right?
Oh, yeah. Availability in stock, estimated ship date today.
Wow. Okay. Well, I probably should have gotten it 2000. There's more to this saga, Jeff. I didn't want to load you down with my continuing saga of failed attempts. But I went, the reason I got rid of the ACOM 1500, the next amplifier, was the Flex Genius. Well, I put that on the desk, fired it up. I was operating FT8. All of a sudden, it went to high blower. I could not hear the speaker on my receiver. Over. There's a PGXL listed on QTH even today, and I know the fella, and he says it's a great amplifier if you can mount it, if you can put it in another room. Well, it's even worse than that. I went to the website for Flex. I said, this can't be. Flex would not lie to the ham population about how wonderful this amplifier was. First thing I find is a guy has put a construction article on the Flex site. This is how you control the noise. There was actually a casket for the linear amplifier with all the sound absorbing material in it, and it went down on the floor behind the operating desk. Over.
Well, there you go, kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because if you give up on that, you can just dig the hole and drop the whole thing in the ground and cover it up.
That's exactly right. Well, anyway, it went back. I lost $40 in that deal. And then I was going to get into another amplifier. And I start reading the reviews. It was solid state. I start reading the reviews, and again, sound like a 747 taking off. And in fact, I went to one of the YouTube sites, and they showed the operation of the amplifier in operation. And I said, "Boy, I tell you, I just can't do this." So here I am, the 2000, and already I've had a major part fail, and it's relatively new. So I don't know. I'm having a little. I'm snake bit when it comes to amplifiers. Over.
No, I totally understand. I've had similar experiences with anything you buy. You know, it's curious if you look very carefully at the lineage of, for example, the Alpha amplifiers. Their biggie was the 87A. That 87A was built by ACOM in Bulgaria for Alpha. Alpha then took the 87A and redid it a little bit and turned it into a 9500. So the 9500 is essentially an ACOM design. But again, they use I believe it's the power triode. I think it's a 3CX 1500. But again, try to replace that tube. It's not inexpensive. And early on, the Alpha people put the big fear in all the ACOM buyers that they weren't going to be able to buy replacement tubes. And quite frankly, that hasn't panned out for them. That argument really hasn't worked. Now, in terms of individual failures of amplifiers, yeah, who can rule that out, right? Fortunately, I got lucky, and I'm knocking on wood. This 2000A has performed very, very well for me. I've only had it about a couple weeks, but it came with fresh tubes, and so far so good. I like the fact that number one, you can't hear it. It's absolutely a quiet amplifier. It sits in the back of the room, and all I have in front of me is that little color control unit that sits here on the desktop, and that's just really sweet. I'm sorry, so let me review, if I could, Gene. You're using you're on an OM Power 2000 Plus right now. Did I miss something?
Yeah. I'm on the 2000 Plus, and the 2000 Plus was the same amplifier that got beat up by DHL. They pull the little wooden assembly under the box. I never even got that. So if I ever ship it anywhere, I got to buy a new one of those. And then 2 weeks ago, I lost the resistor. Had to go in myself and replace the resistor. Fortunately, I feel comfortable working around the high voltage, but I shouldn't be digging around in my amplifier. Over.
No, I totally concur. NJ2US, Cape May, New Jersey. Yeah, like I said, I had the 2000 HF, which was one of the amplifiers that went on one of the more famous DXpeditions, and a few of them came back to New Jersey because one of the guys up at Old Barney was on that DXpedition. I just can't remember the island they went to, and I ended up with that amplifier a couple weeks to try it out, and loved it. I mean, all you had to do was breathe on it; it would do legal limit and beyond. Again, my only complaint about it was it heated the room, and it did have a tremendous that airflow was just too much to bear. A lot of hot air coming in. In fact, that my buddy doesn't use it in the summertime because it just heats the room up too much. How do you feel about the heat coming out of that?
No problem. The blower is a little louder than the ACOM 1500. It's not a lot louder. And the heat, as I said, you can feel it. I mean, you put your finger over or your hand over the vent. And but I haven't tried it in the summertime. I just got it in November. But it doesn't heat the room, so I figure in the summer it'll be okay if it's not heating the room in the wintertime. And so far so good in that department. Over.
Okay, that's great. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it. I know fellas with the OM gear, because of all the air that's got to move through that ceramic tube. They've built plenum and vented it to the outside.
which would be a clever way of dealing with that. The OM 2000 Plus is basically a copy of the 2000 HF with some improvements in the control circuitry and the display and whatnot. The original HF just had, kind of some LEDs across the front with not a lot of measuring. It was one of their earlier versions, but it had that same gigantic toroidal transformer in it. When you open these things up and you look inside, other than for the control electronics, they all look I'm telling you what, when you compare the OMs, the Alphas, and the ACOMs, when you look inside, they look mysteriously similar.
Well, yeah, and as you pointed out, the Alphas were actually being built by ACOM, and I had the 91B, and that came straight out of ACOM. I don't even think it shipped. Well, maybe I don't think it shipped from Colorado. I think it drop shipped from what was it? Not Bulgaria. Where is ACOM?
Well, ACOM's Bulgaria. OM Power's in Slovakia.
Okay. Well, it shipped straight out of Bulgaria, as I recall. But that was a nice amplifier, and that was the one that used the two tank tubes. But I don't know. Recently, my quest for the amplifiers, I've been a little snake bit. But let me ask you a question. I wanted to switch the subject slightly. I've been thinking about remoting my 6400 now. I have the Maestro, and I've taken that to my vacation home in North Carolina, and it works just fine remote. But since then, I have bought the USB to RS-232 adapter for the antenna controller. I have the Step IR, and so now I could actually switch bands and slide up and down frequencies. But I think I'm going to need a coax switch if I want to get on 40 and some of the other bands. Have you bought any of the? Have you bought the Flex switch? I believe. What do they call it? The A2 and the A4. Over.
No, I do all my when I'm operating the Flex remote, it feeds the first port of my what I haven't mentioned to you is the second amplifier sitting here. It's an SPE Expert 1.5K. That's my backup amplifier, but the Flex is on port 1 of input because that Expert has two switchable inputs. So when I operate the Flex remotely, it's coming into port 1 of the Expert amplifier, and my Apache 7000 is attached to port 2, and I can switch the Apache between the Expert 1.5 and the ACOM 2000 Alpha. So and everything goes through a Palstar HF Auto into this 600-foot horizontal loop fed with the balanced line. So all I do is pulse a little RF to it, and of course the HF Auto just tunes it anywhere. So I'm a one transmit antenna station, but I don't use that antenna for receive. I have completely separate receive arrays. I have 4 600-foot beverages here on 40, 75, and 160 meters, and a shared apex loop from Arrayed Solutions, the Sal 20, if you're familiar with that. So that's how I manage receive, and I can switch all them remotely, but I do not have or use the Flex switch.
Okay, well, I wanted to talk to somebody who has the Flex switch because there's a little gotcha there. Even though it seems you have the capability of plugging that switch into the local area network, it doesn't seem to want to work just doing that without having a computer on. Over.
And I'd have to do the research, but that's simply because that switch evidently does not have its own built-in web server, right? So devices that you can access directly from a web browser remotely require internal web servers. And if you have to use middleware, like a PC running a piece of software, then, yeah, that complicates your whole remote operation because now you have to rely on a PC running in the shack. And that can be problematic. The Flex, on the other hand, has a web server built in and does not rely on a PC. This Apache can't really use it remote. There's no built-in web server, and of course, it's never really designed to be used remotely. That's kind of like why I really enjoy the Flex. Now, I can switch receive antennas directly from the software because you have several antenna ports. Even on the Flex 6400, you can choose, you can re-choose antenna 1, antenna 2, receiver B, and even the transverter port can act as an antenna port. So you can plug antennas to them and switch them remotely all day.
Yeah, Roger. NJ2US Kilo 4, Mike Oscar Golf. Well, you just suggested one additional approach. If I wanted to have my 40 meter on output 2 of the Flex 6400, that would work, certainly would. And then just put my step IR that has the controller attached to the Flex. Then I'm in business. So then I've got 40, 20, 15, 10, and 6 meters capability, all wired up and ready to go remote. Now, when you run remote, if you don't have the Flex Maestro and everything, what do you use for your software? Do you have software on a computer at your remote site?
I carry it in my pocket right on my iPhone or my iPad or any laptop, or I could be at a buddy's house and say, hey, let me show you my Flex. We can go to the Flex site, download Smart SDR software on anybody's PC, sign in with my credentials, and I'm on the air with my Flex.
Okay, well, I've also got the application on my iPhone for controlling the Flex, the station in Germany that sells it. And I tried that, and yes, that both worked pretty good too. I was thinking about going mobile with that, over.
Yeah, I always know the guy running it mobile because inevitably he gets packet loss because he's drifting from cell site to cell site, and the handoff isn't always smooth. And it depends where they are. If you have really good, reliable LTE or 5G coverage, it does seem to work very well. But inevitably, guys end up in poor spots while they're motoring along, and you end up with packet loss, and it's really, people get a little annoyed by it because then you start dropping words and syllables and things like that. By the way, if you want to see my Flex 64 operating on YouTube, and every time I mention this, it just loads up. People start tuning in. YouTube.com, search for NJ2US live, and our QSO here is streaming live on YouTube. But yeah, I still like it. I think Flex has got it nailed when it comes to remote operations. I don't think anybody does it better.
Yeah, Roger. Well, the problem I have, Jeff, is that when I use my ICOM 706 mobile with the High Sierra antenna, I get very bad RF feedback through my remote line. I have a 13-foot line made by ICOM, and I use that. Now, when I used to run it in my pickup truck and the radio was on the transmission hump, the control head and the radio were together. And now that they're split, I get tremendous RF feedback. I have tried putting ferrite beads on there. I've tried ferrite windings, you name it, and I haven't been able to solve the problem. So that's why I was thinking about, okay, now that I have this remote capability, maybe it's time to try the cell phone. Over.
Oh, I think you'll get a kick out of it. Just the oddity of speaking into a phone for your audio. You can actually tune out audio pretty good. I've heard some pretty good smartphone audio. Even fellas using Bluetooth headsets and the like have managed to get their audio sounding pretty good. So I give them kudos for that. I've never really been able to master that. People always can say, "Oh, you're on your iPhone today, Jeff. We can tell, right?" So, but it's okay. We can still have QSOs when I'm on the road, and I just really like that capability. And then when I'm in the home shack, I never use the Flex 6400 here in the shack. It's strictly for remote and streaming, and that's a lot of fun. Gene, I really enjoyed this QSO. My wife just walked in from outside, and I have to go greet her, and the dog got something. You may have heard the dog jumping around and barking a little bit with her return home. So I do want to tell you that I really enjoyed the QSO. Thanks for sharing your anecdotal stories about your amplifier situation, and I'm hoping that you enjoy years of trouble-free operation with that LM2000. That's a sweet amplifier. I wouldn't mind having one here.
Okay, Jeff. Well, I certainly enjoyed it too. We'll do it again. I'll check out your YouTube site, and let's, as I said, let's do it again. NJ2US, Kilo 4, Mike Oscar Golf. We'll be clear with you.
Yep, you bet. And by the way, even though this live stream would conclude, if you tune into it, you can slide the thing back and replay this whole QSO because it archives as well as streams live. So it's kind of neat in that regard. And while we've been here, six people actually logged in listening to us and are watching the stream. I don't know who they are. Everybody's anonymous, but it's pretty cool. Gene, take care. Good luck. I really enjoyed it. I'll look for you again. Let's see, K4MOG and J2US, Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah, let's do it again because I've got more questions. We'll talk to you then. NJ2US, Kilo 4, Mike Oscar Golf.
73, sir.
73. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Victor Echo 2 Papa India Bravo.
Victor Echo 2 Papa India Bravo. You're 59 Mike Delta.
Thank you for Mike Delta, 59 Queen Charlie.
Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Contest.
Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot.
Something radio. Yankee United 5 radio. You're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot.
Kilo Golf Mike. Florida 8 Kilo Golf Mike. You're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot.
Echo Alpha. Echo Alpha 2 Alpha Quebec. You're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot.
Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot. You're 59 Mike Delta.
59 Papa Echo. Good luck.
Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Delta X-ray. Sierra Mike 2 Mike. You're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Echo 77 Delta X-ray. You're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Italy Oscar 9 America. 59 Mike Delta.
Thank you, 59500.
Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Something Tokyo. Charlie Tango. Charlie Tango 1 Bravo Quebec Radio 59 Mike Delta. Is that Charlie Bravo Quebec Hotel? Bravo Question Tango. Roger. Charlie Tango 1 Bravo X-ray Tango. You're 59 Mike Delta. Okay, congratulations. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar contest. IK0 Papa Hotel Yankee. You're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Again.
Joe, where are you, Joe?
Okay, Sierra Norway 3 Alpha, you're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, QRZ contest. Echo Charlie 1 Tango, you're 59 Mike Delta. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Yankee Victoria. Again, the Yankee Victoria. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar contest. Charlie Tango 2 Golf Sierra November. You're 59 Mike Delta. Congratulations. 5. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar contest. Echo Alpha 5 India. Echo Alpha 5 India Uniform Sierra. You're 59 Mike. Thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. 7 November. Something Echo 7.
Ocean Echo 3.
Ocean Echo 3, go ahead.
Lima Zulu Alpha.
Ocean Echo 3, Lima Zulu Alpha, you're 59 Mike Delta.
Thank you, 59400.
Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Charlie Tango 7. Charlie Tango 7, America Queen Fox, 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar.
Italy Whiskey 1, Foxtrot Radio Uniform.
Italy Whiskey 1, Foxtrot Radio Uniform, your 59 Mike Delta.
Thank you, Mayor, and please copy 59100.
Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. Victor something radio. Alina Zulu 5 Radio, 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. Italy Radio 6 Tango. Italy Radio 6 Tango, your 59 Mike Delta.
Roger, 500.
Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. Echo 71 Alpha, your 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. Oscar 8 Oscar, your 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. Night 2 Yankee. Tango Night 2 Yankee, your 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. Oscar Mike 1 Alpha. Roger, Oscar Mike 1 Alpha, Victoria Lima, 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 30 Oscar. CQ Contest, Kilo 30. Kilowatt 3. Sierra something? Roger, Sierra Charlie 3 America, 59 Mike Delta. Roger, thank you. Kilo 30 Oscar, contest. Something 4. Kilo 30 Oscar, contest. CQ contest, Kilo 30 Oscar. Kilowatt 3. Contest. Zulu. Question Mike Bravo. I'm sorry, there's some kid right now. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Echo Alpha 4, Golf Oscar Yankee.
Echo Alpha 4, Golf Oscar Yankee, 59 Mike Delta.
Thank you. 59 kilowatts.
Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Sierra Victor 2. Sierra Victor 2 Lima. I'm sorry, no copy right now. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, George, at contest. Delta 2 at 9, Zulu Bravo, 59 Mike Delta. Thank you, Franz. Good to hear you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, contest. CQ contest, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3, Zanzibar Ocean.
Victor Alpha 2, Mike Papa.
Mike Papa.
Victor Alpha 2, Mike Papa.
Victor Alpha 2, Mike Papa, your 59 Mike Delta.
Thank you, 59 Quebec Charlie.
Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, contest. Again? Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, contest. Kilowatt 3, Zanzibar Ocean. Good.
contest, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3, Zanzibar Ocean, contest.
Whiskey 9 Alpha Bravo Alpha.
Sugar Papa 9 November, your 5-9 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. United. Charlie Tango, something Hotel United. Roger, Roger, Charlie Tango 2, Hotel United, United, 5-9 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Again. 4 something. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. C2 contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 Zanzibar Ocean. Contest.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
5-9. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Contest. Something November. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar contest.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
Uniform Germany.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
Something Germany.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany. Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
Papa Yankee 1.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar to our ship contest.
Roger, Roger. Papa Yankee, Canada, Guatemala. Papa Yankee 1, Canada, Germany.
5-9 Mike Delta.
Echo Alpha 8 Bravo Queen Mike. Thank you. 5-9 100 100. Roger.
Roger, thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
2 Romeo America. Rated 2 Radio Alpha again. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar to our ship contest.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
Sugar Victor 2 Bravo Foxtrot November, your 5-9 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar.
Papa Yankee 1, Charlie Germany.
Foxtrot 8. Tango Foxtrot 8, Kilo Yankee 5-9 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Something Victor 1. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar to our jet contest. Sugar Victor 3. Sugar Victor 3, Sugar Papa Charlie 5-9 Mike Delta. Thank you, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. C2 contest, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 Zanzibar Ocean. Contest. C2 contest, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 Zanzibar Ocean. Contest. Italy Whiskey 8 Bravo America Kilowatt, your 5-9 Mike Delta. Italy Whiskey 8 Bravo America Kilowatt, your 5-9 Mike Delta. USL, thank you. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. C2 contest, Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 Zanzibar Ocean. Contest. Again. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, 2 hours of contest. C2 contest, Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilo 3 Zanzibar Ocean. Contest.
Channel 7WO.
Kilo Lima 7. Nancy Lima 7, Whiskey Alpha. Okay, Nancy Lima 7, Whiskey Alpha, you're 5-9 Mike Delta. Roger, 5-9 Maryland, 5-9 down in Florida. Down in Florida. What's the power? I believe in 100 watts an hour. Again? 100 watts an hour. 100. Roger, Roger. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Uniform 0 Alpha Papa Uniform is 5-9 Mike Delta. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. C2 Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt Contest. C2 Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Again. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Echo Alpha. Kilo 3. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Ocean, Mexico. Ocean, Mexico 3. So Ocean, Mexico 3, Victoria. Ocean Mike 3, Bravo. Again, please. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, Contest. CQ Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3 is out of our ocean. Contest. Alpha something? Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar, Contest. CQ Contest. Kilo 3 Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3, active our ocean. Contest. CQ contest. Kilo 3, Zulu Oscar. Kilo. Contest. Contest. Kilo 3, Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3, active our ocean. CQ contest. Kilo 3. Kilowatt 3, active our ocean. CQ contest, Kilo 3, Zulu Oscar. Kilowatt 3, active our ocean. Contest. Ocean something?